Meeting of the Garfield Township Board to order, and we'll start with a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ann, can we have a roll call, please?
Schmuckel.
Here.
Augustinelli.
Here.
Horn.
Here.
Cumber.
Here.
Lapp.
Here.
L. McManus.
Here.
And J. McManus.
Here, thank you. All right. Next item on our agenda is public comment. So now is your first opportunity to come forward and make any comments you'd like to say, and let us know. Now is your chance. You can tell the good, I have a lot shorter public comment than him sometimes. Well, I see nobody coming forward. We'll go ahead and close public comment. Move on to the review and approval of the agenda. If anybody has any conflicts of interest, now would be the time to state those. If not, the motion would be in order.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consent calendar.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar. No. Where am I? Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted in parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. This evening you have minutes, June 23rd, 2026, Township Board regular meeting. Recommend approval. Bills from the general fund, $60,107.87. Recommend approval. Gordy Frazier Developers Escrow Fund, Stormwater Reviews and Determinations, Utility Plan Review, Oversight and Closeout, $19,876.25. General Utilities, $4,348.50. Park Funds DNR Trust Fund, $16,357.92. Total of $40,582.67. Recommend approval. Consideration of contractor's application for payment number 1 from Team Elmers for Silver Lake Recreation Area Pickleball Courts. Recommend approval. Consideration of contractor's application for payment number 1 from AJ's Excavating for River East Phase 3 site work. Recommend approval. Consideration of zoning ordinance amendment for moratoriums, introduction and schedule public hearing on August 11th, 2026. Recommend approval. Consideration of Olson PUD major amendment cell tower, introduction and schedule public hearing for August 11th, 2026. Recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there anybody, any item, any member of the board would like to have removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda? Any item staff would like to have removed? Nope. Any item anybody in the public would like to have removed? Hearing none?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the consent calendar as presented. Any further discussion on that motion? And can we have a roll call, please?
Horn.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
Cumber.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
Augustinelli.
Yes.
Schmuckel.
Yes.
J. McManus.
Yes, thank you. Correspondence, I see the Grand Traverse County Road Commission has an update in our packet. Is that right, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, I don't
That's just
think
for
anybody
information.
from the Road Commission is here to speak this evening, so we'll move on to our reports. First report is our auditor's report from Dennis, Gartland, and Nygarth. Welcome.
Thank you. So I am Brittany Landiga. I'm an audit manager at Dennis, Gartland, Garth, and I'm going to do a short and sweet overview of the audit, but happy to answer any questions or go in more detail if anyone needs any more information. But first and foremost, the audit opinion is always the very first thing in the audit report, and so we did issue an unmodified opinion which is a good opinion. That's a clean audit opinion, meaning that the financial statements are free from material misstatement. So overall, just talking some numbers, the general fund balance was about 12 million available to be spent at the township's discretion. So that equals about 27 months of the total operating expenses for the general fund, which is a strong operating reserve. The water and sewer fund, so the business fund has approximately 59 million of fund revenue, or fund balance. 27 of that is invested in capital assets, so the infrastructure, and 32 million is unrestricted and available to be used. So that's about 10 months of the operating expenses. As far as the budget goes, there was a little budget overage in the general fund, and that is for a transfer out that wasn't budgeted at all. But overall expenditures were under budget and revenue was over budget. So that is reported in your financial statements. As far as significant deficiencies, this is the same deficiency every year. This is the preparation of financial statements. That is super common in smaller governments just because staff doesn't have the gap knowledge to prepare financial statement footnotes. So we do that on your behalf, but management does take responsibility over the financial statements. So it is reviewed and approved by you guys to take responsibility over those statements. There was one material noncompliance, which was a deficit fund equity balance. That was a special assessment fund that had a deficit balance, and that's just because of the timing of when the expenditures occurred and when it's taxed. You normally do the project and then tax it later. So it's just kind of a timing issue, and unfortunately it becomes a noncompliance. So it's kind of just the nature of a special assessment. So that does get a deficit reduction plan that gets filed with the state. But overall, the audit results are positive. So unmodified opinion, good general fund reserves, water and sewer reserves, and we had no disagreements with management or anyone else. So with that, that's all I had, unless there's any other questions, comments.
Any questions for the auditor? I think our deficit reduction plan has already been submitted, I believe.
No, it
right?
has not been
It's
submitted.
being worked
I submitted
on.
to them to review.
Okay, and then it goes to the state?
No, it has to come here and be approved by the board,
Oh,
and then it
wow.
goes to the state.
But it's already been sent to
The
them?
process has
Yes.
started, yes.
All right, good deal.
Yep, so all the reports have been filed by the correct time. That we have a couple weeks still.
We had the exact same thing last year with a different special assessment district, right?
It's very common in special assessments. It's just you do the project and then you bill it out, so.
Which one
it's-
was this?
It was yours.
Oh.
It was the
It
one
was,
over there.
it was you, Denise.
I paid for it already.
Well, yeah. I mean, the nature, you
Yeah.
do the special assessment, you pay the money to get the project done, but your first year of taxes doesn't come till the next year, so it
Right.
just shows the first
I
year of
got it.
deficit. Then it'll be fine after that, because the money will come in and be paid out the same,
It's just a timing issue.
just a
Okay.
formality.
It's, yeah, it sounds bad, but it's not.
Great. All right, any other questions for the auditor? Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, our county commissioner's report is in writing. It's in front of you this evening. She couldn't make it, so she sent it over. So forward any questions you might have to her. Move on to our sheriff's report. Roy?
Good evening, Roy Raska. Garfield Township stats for the month of June included 73 citations being issued, 10 injury accidents being policed, 71 property damage accidents, 11 drunk driving arrests were made, 53 criminal arrests were made, and then the quarter stats for the first quarter, or second quarter stats include 258 citations in the township, 35 injury accidents, 175 property damage accidents, 19 drunk driving accidents, and 161 criminal arrests were made. All 5 of the CPO spots continue to be filled as of right now. Jess is out of the school, obviously, and she's just been filling in, helping everybody on the road. And right now we have 2 potential employees enrolled in the NMC Academy that starts in the end of August. And then Father Fred just reached out to us to help volunteer with the back to school, assist kids with getting fitted for shoes and other supplies. So I'm going to have a few deputies work with Father Fred here in August. And then we also reached out to independent assisted living, the old Glen Eagle. We're going to try to start doing breakfasts with the residents there once or twice, or maybe a quarter, maybe 3 times a quarter. And that's going to start up in August. And I think Metro Fire is going to go with us, and MMR. And right now, Deputy Cole Rosa, one of the CPOs, is training one of the new people in the township, so that'll be good. And Cole currently has the speed sign still in the Spring Hill subdivision. And I'll get with him to see if it's time to move that or get it updated. 2 of the bigger cases that are going on right now, the township CPOs worked on an arson case, and that got turned over to our detective bureau, and they're working on that. It's the arson of the church on Barnes Road, and then another major case that got turned over to detective bureau from the CPOs was a check fraud case that includes the township, includes Chicago, includes Grand Rapids, Lansing, and everywhere else. So they're working on that, and they've got people identified. It's just tracking them down. If you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Roy? Nope. All right, thanks, Roy, appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Ray.
Chief Mackin had a conflict this evening, so he's not going to make it. His report is in our packet, but he is planning on coming to our next meeting and presenting and answering any questions anybody might have. So move on to, we've got a special treat. We got Grand Traverse Central Dispatch Report, I think, for the first time, so.
Hi, everybody. My name is Corey LaCure, and I am the director at Central Dispatch for Grand Traverse County. We're the 911 people, and we're trying to get out and talk to folks in the townships, answer questions that you might have, concerns, anything like that. Just put my ugly face in front of you so that you know who to call if you have any problems with dispatch with 911. I appreciate you having me this evening. This is what happens when you go through Cherry Fest and survive. But we did, and we had a great festival, kept people safe. People wanted to fight, but we had a good festival overall. It's nothing that was abnormal. Real quick, just wanted to give you a couple of pieces of information about Central Dispatch, and then I will be quiet and answer any questions that you might have about anything when it comes to 911. Just giving you some numbers quarter by quarter about call statistics in Garfield Township. Now, as you see across the board in Grand Traverse County, in 2024, we had a dip in calls. It was weird. Population goes up, and usually the calls go up. Population went up, but the calls went down. We have no explanation for that. But the good people of Grand Traverse County made up for that in 2025, and we had a lot more calls. And overall, if we map this out over 10 years, no shock to anybody, it's continuing to go up about 3% every year. And those are 911 calls, non-emergent calls, law enforcement assists, anything whatsoever. And so in Garfield Township in particular, you see kind of a spike there at the end of 2025. So as things are going up in the county, about 14.5%. In Garfield Township, they went up about 12% year to year. So you're on pace with the rest of the county. Just a quick update on revenue. Your 911 center for Grand Traverse County is 100% funded by surcharge. What that means is there is a charge on your phone bill that you pay once a month. So that's anything that can call 911, whether that's your landline, if anybody still has a landline, and or your wireless device, your cell phone. So there will be a $2.50 charge, and all of that goes to Central Dispatch, to 911. We don't take any county money. We don't take anything except for surcharge. We do have something on the ballot this coming November to raise that 50 cents. And the reason we're doing that is we're building a tiny little building up on Lafreniere. right now, and there is significant financial impacts into that. We want to be able to keep our same level of service while still paying back the bond that is being used to construct that. The other big thing that we have coming up is law enforcement radios. The federal government is forcing us to adopt a technology that's really nerdy and wonky. I won't get into it too much, but basically it means we have to replace radios for law enforcement. Every radio that a law enforcement officer has in the county, every radio that a firefighter, medic, EMT has in the county, they are owned by Central Dispatch. And then we maintain them and make sure that they're up for performance. So now we're at a point where we're going to have to replace a lot of them, and they're super expensive. We bought them all about 11, 12 years ago, and as you can imagine, things 11 and 12 years ago were much cheaper than they are today across the board. And when it comes to public safety radios, that's especially true. And so we're going to need a little bit more revenue so that we can comply with the federal requirements and get our law enforcement officers up to speed on probably the most important piece of equipment that they carry around, and that is their radio. That's their helpline, so that we can get them the help they need. The last thing I'll tell you is that you have a really great 911 system. You never see these people, right? We don't even want to be seen. If you ever met them, they're trying to hide from you, right? But they are heroes that you never see. Every officer that you need at your house, it starts with 911. If you need an ambulance, it starts with 911, and they are doing a great job. And it's more than the technology, and it's certainly not me. It is the men and women who are answering those calls every single day. Our mission is to take the call, dispatch the call, and keep responders safe. And we do one heck of a job every single day, and I'm proud to tell you that, and I hope that you feel safe, and I hope you never have to call 911. I really hope you don't. People average 2 911 calls in a lifetime. I hope you don't, but if you do, you have a solid, wonderful 911 system full of dedicated people that are going to get you the help that you need. That's all I really have, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Anybody have any questions for Corey? Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks, Corey, we appreciate it.
I'll try to make it more often.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, next up is our Planning Department monthly report. John?
Good evening, John Syke, Planning Director. You have our monthly report for July 2026 in your packet. Just a couple of comments. There was a site condominium that was recommended for approval for the Olson Foundation development site. We didn't include that as part of the introductions to your agenda this evening. We're kind of working with the township engineer and the developer's engineers. They're making some changeover in some of the in their engineering staff, so we wanted to make sure that the plans are coordinated and so that ensure that if there are any changes, it would go back to the Planning Commission. But which we expect it to be pretty much the same moving forward, that it'll come to the Township Board here in an upcoming meeting. And then just wanted to mention that with the adoption of both the mobile food vending units or food truck license and the zoning ordinance amendment, we are now set up to accept applications, but just know that those also require site plan review for the location in terms of what our zoning ordinance requires. That's all I have, if you have any questions.
I have one question, John, and I know Roy brought it up about that fire at the church. Was that under any consideration of being bought out by somebody?
There was that was.
Is that the Copper Ridge one?
Correct, yeah, it's the
Okay.
Copper Ridge one, which is on the the Barnes Road. So, yeah, that was going to be purchased for a hand surgery business to go into that location.
With
So-
something like this happening, will that be stopped now, or?
Well, it was all approved by the town board.
Okay.
So whether the ownership and real estate transaction,
Okay.
that's something we don't know. But it is effectively now part of the Copper Ridge PUD.
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Sure.
Any other questions for John? All right, thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right, Parks and Rec report. Looks like Derek might be here this evening to talk to us about that.
Evening, people. Derek Morton, Park Stewart. Going park to park, Silver Lake, we're talked to Henco there, got the last coat possibly going on tomorrow, if things don't melt. And then painting a day or so after that for the pickleball courts. Everything's pretty much there. We're waiting on Elmer's to finish up a little bit of the final grade and seeding, and then Lautner's coming right back behind them to tweak a couple irrigation lines. So we're getting close over there. I'm surprised they actually put a coat down with how hot it was, but they said it was fine. So that's starting to button up over there. We've been talking with Sarah, our designer there, about some layouts of dog park lights and walking loop lights, where that's still in the works. Reynolds, Kathleen's staying on top of Reynolds. They're just packed over there right now, so it's a busy park. Commons, unfortunately, we're excited to see the development going over there. We packed in like 2 tons of crushed gravel on the washout, and that last huge rain we had, it's gone again. So we just keep putting Band-Aids on over there, and we just need to really address the stormwater issue around Red Drive. Jennifer and I have been talking about it, and also with Chris. So I don't know if we put another Band-Aid on it and hope we don't get another 3-inch rain, but well, I guess we'll talk about that here in the next couple days. River East, we're doing a walkthrough tomorrow, Jennifer and I don't know if Chris is going to be involved, but just the punch list of the finishing up the development over there. There's a couple little tweaks we need them to come back on, nothing major, but I think they really did an excellent job getting in there and knocking it out pretty quick. It's open. It's been packed up until it turned 100 degrees and then everyone left, but it was still pretty busy. That's about all I got for now. After our meeting tomorrow, I'm meeting with the CRA group again about the tree planting we did over at Buffalo Ridge. We're going to take some tubes off trees that are now like a foot or two outside the tubes and restake them with like a bamboo or a stake just to sustain them without the tubes on them. But a lot of them are doing really well. The first year they kind of struggled when we had that drought. Now they're just taking off. So that looks good. I'm meeting with them tomorrow to adjust some of those tubes. And then 16th or 17th, we're going to start treating the rest of the autumn olive between the YMCA and the West Middle School. So they're jumping in there and treating it, and then 30 days beyond the treatment, they'll come back and forestry mulch all that, and it'll open it back up, and then we can do some plantings the following year there. So, been pretty busy, mowing, trimming in the heat. It's been fun.
Question.
Yep.
When that pickleball court becomes open, is it just going to be a first come, first served basis?
We've talked about it, like interdepartment. And I've talked to Matt, the head of TAPA. We're going to kind of see how it rolls. This year, it's only going to be, maybe a month or two of it just being first come, first served. TAPA's experience is when you do that, it can become a circus a little bit. So we're going to weigh the options of, do we have TAPA maybe reserve 2 courts on their website? It's free. You can get on the website and just reserve 2 courts, and then have the other 2 open to play where you can put your paddle in and challenge, kind of a mini version of what's going on at Boardman Lake. But I think for the first, let's say August, September, we're just going to have it first come, first serve, and just kind of monitor it and make sure we're not, having 7-year-olds fight over who's on the court.
Okay, thank you.
Right, what's going to be like. Any other questions?
And we actually talked about it today a little bit, Chris and I and Sean, about that as well. And there's certainly a value to having a first come, first serve available. I'm sure that the TAPA would love to take them all over and schedule them, and that may be the best we don't know as time goes on. But I like the idea of trying it for a while, first come, first serve, and see how it works out.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and Matt's really good with TAPA. Their website's got 9 locations of pickleball courts, so you can go online and just reserve only 2-hour blocks. And it's free. They won't charge us for anything of that, and they're not charging the public for it. Okay. It works really well at Boardman River. So, we'll just
are they all reserved over there, or are there some first
there's
come?
4 you can reserve, 4 are open.
Okay, so there's a combination. So if we did a combination at Silver Lake, it would be consistent there too.
Yeah. Good work. Good.
Thank you, Derek.
Thanks, people.
Thanks, Dirk. Clerk's report.
I've submitted the clerk's report in writing. Any questions on that? Okay. We've just been busy with elections. A lot of phone calls, a lot of people stopping in to get ballots. The usual election season.
Okay. Thank you. Township Manager, Chris.
As you're aware, we have 2 FEMA grants that we're working on with MSP. One is the South Airport feasibility study, and the other one is recouping funds for our damaged YMCA, the Red Drive Trailhead, other little areas that we had some cost to fix. I attended a briefing last Thursday with 85 municipalities around the state. It was in Gaylord. I attended it virtually. I was actually on vacation that day. And was told that I'm waiting for a FEMA representative to contact me and basically hand walk me through the process. So I found they've learned that us who don't go through this very often and have to try to navigate it ourselves is difficult, so they've changed their program to be ultra helpful. That's what it appears, so I'm excited about that. One thing I did learn is that that grant is only reimbursable up to 75%. So there will be 25% that they expect that we would incur those costs. To carry on that a little bit, I'm working with the YMCA on a contract right now where they would cover those costs that aren't covered by the grant. So that is in the hands of the YMCA's attorney, and then I expect that to come back to me and then to this board at some point. So that's, and these grants have to be finalized by the end of the month as far as our work here internally. We did have a meeting scheduled with the Grand Traverse Band leadership today. We reached out to them just to connect, and so we could put names with faces. They're in our community, they're community partners, and we just wanted to do that. Unfortunately, they had many meetings today. One went long and they couldn't make our meeting. So we scheduled it to meet at the Boardman, their new facility, and we're waiting to reschedule that. So it would be with their manager and the chairwoman. So that's what hopefully, I was hoping to have some information to pass along, but they'll have to wait. We met with Cooper People Group on our employee performance evaluation program. It was kind of a kickoff meeting, question and answer, and create a timeline. And so now we're just creating what that evaluation product looks like. So there's a little bit back and forth between us and them to get that ironed out. The goal is to have that done, I believe, like early fall. Fingers crossed that works out. And then I reported to the board that our server was having issues in the recent past, and we made a decision with our IT company to do a short-term fix that's cheaper, just to buy a license for the server and continue to use what we have. One reason is when we went to BSNA Cloud, during that transition, BSNA felt, and also new users of the cloud, to have that .NET available as a crutch to get them through on the cloud, that organizations were keeping that for like 6 months. So we need to have a server for that software to live on, and it will keep the server up and running internally until we decide to get rid of .NET, which, I see no reason why not in January of the first of the year, that we can't get rid of that and be totally reliant on the cloud. And then when that is decommissioned, we really don't need an internal server as you normally would in a business because we only use it for data storage. Our BSNA is in the cloud, and then all of our accounts, even the trustees, have storage with it. So there's a way to kind of share that storage and use that as our server, basically. So kind of trying to figure out what that looks like. My biggest concern is when you use things like that is when somebody leaves and you're creating folders that are shared with a person's account and that person leaves, how does that data continue to be shared? There's ways to do that. So we just got to figure out if we're comfortable and relying on what we're told. There is some comfort in having an internal server because it's here, you have access to it, and then, the cloud, you just have to hope that it's going to be there someday, which I'm not completely confident, right? But we're going to deal with that later after the first of the year on what direction to go. And one other thing that I didn't add that I think it was important for you to know is in the spring there was a light pole that fell on 31 South by McCrae Hill Road going up the hill. And I worked with the MDOT manager, Dan Wagner, Consumers Energy, and they are replacing 7 of them. And they're also assessing all of the poles along that stretch for safety and integrity. Last thing we want is because the base is rusted out that it fall on a car and somebody get hurt. So, and that also is prompting an auditing of our other light poles through Cherryland and TC Light Power. So, just wanted to throw that out there. That's all I have.
All right, thanks, Chris. Excuse me. Supervisor report, probably a little wordier than normal, but a few things I want to cover off on. Obviously, been in the news, if you go back to like the end of last year, January, and then again in May, and then recently, the city and county formulated a task force to start studying the regional homeless issue. And as they're making their recommendations, it's been a little bit concerning that they didn't include us in the process, and that one of their solutions is to make a concentration campus of all the homeless in Garfield Township. Okay, and we're very concerned about that plan for many reasons. Number one, so in December when it came up, we had a meeting face to face with the county administrator. And it didn't dissuade the conversation. And in May, I had a conversation with the consulting company that was recommendation, and that didn't seem to go anywhere. So last week we met with the director of the coalition and the head of the Goodwill Inn and discussed what their what they would individually like to see happen. And during that process, we actually identified that the Goodwill Inn is actually already in violation of their special use permit that they have there. 124 beds there, and they're only permitted for 115. So we asked them to make some corrections to that problem. But we made it very clear that we're very concerned about, on many levels, about taking the entire region's homeless issue and putting it in Garfield Township. I don't think that's fair to our residents that pay for those services. I don't think it's fair to the homeless to just scoop them up and put them all in one place. I don't think that's a very good idea myself. So we're trying to work with that group and come to some sort of a resolution. So more to come. But John, our planning director, provided us with a lot of great information, the benefits and the detriments of doing different things. So, but just for example, the current Goodwill Inn with its current population is on track this year to have 700 emergency calls at that one building. So, our 911 director said an average person has 2 in their lifetime. The Goodwill Inn is on pace to have about 700 this year alone at that building. So you can see the police and the fire and the resources it takes, and we have the only 24/7, 365 homeless shelter in the county here in Garfield Township. So, quite frankly, our position is maybe it's time for some other municipalities to step up and get one of their own. I should try it. So more to come on that. It'll be a hot topic as we move forward. A lot of questions around the flow of the meetings. There was a lot of questions last week brought up, some challenges made to our processes, to the law, to the Open Meetings Act law that we follow. So Chris and I are, as a courtesy and as a reaffirm, we're going to rewrite our policy and our stance on public comment at meetings. Restate that, have the board adopt that at our next meeting, so it's clear, it'll be posted. We follow the Open Meetings Act. Everything we do is to the law, and we'll continue to do that. But we will probably see some changes to the flow on the agenda in meetings at times. Our number one, there's 2 things we need to be concerned primarily about. Number one is we need to make sure that we're carrying out our responsibilities as a board. And we have business to take care of. So we got to make sure that our meetings don't get disrupted to the point we can't take care of business. And of course, we'll always have public comment from the public, giving them their chance to speak. But it won't always be and doesn't have to be. It's my discretion where that public comment takes place. We only have to offer one, and it's anywhere that the board chair decides to put it. So depending on the meeting, depending on the agenda, we'll be looking at that and bring it back to you guys for review, get your comments, and approve specifically just really restate the policy. But just kind of want to let everybody know that will be coming next week, or next meeting probably. Our steering committee for South Airport Road has met again several times now. But our next step is we're forming a advisory group. It's the name of it has gone back and forth between technical or not technical, but so in 2 weeks from last night, the 27th, in this room, we'll be holding our next steering committee meeting and inviting upwards of 25, 30 people probably to be part of that advisory group. We'll see how many of them stick with it. From all aspects of stakeholders, professionals, experts in different fields. So making progress with that. Chris and I had a meeting last week with Dawn Lund, our water rates study lady. We're getting closer to getting that rate study done. And our meeting last week was specifically talking about specific users, and do water rates need to be adjusted for different users based on the amount of water they use. For example, like a geothermal heating facility, that we don't encourage anybody to put a geothermal system on city water, but there are some. So that was what our conversation was about. More to come on that. And the last thing is really, I know that Derek mentioned it, and there's some pictures in your packet. A month or so ago, we took a chance and went with a bid. It was a little bit higher on getting that done, with a commitment that it would be done about 60 days quicker than anybody else said they could get it done, and it played out very well. They did a nice job. It's done, and the park's back open. If you haven't been over there, take the time to go over there. It's a nice. It's so much nicer having a parking lot and pavement and sidewalks, and now a little later on the agenda, we're going to talk about the bathroom. So. Anyway, so with that, any questions for me? I'm not hearing any. We'll go on to unfinished business. Item A, consideration of cost-sharing agreement with Grand Traverse County Road Commission for a Frankie Road reconstruction project. This is the sidewalk we have partnered with on the Road Commission to add to the Frankie Road neighborhood. So Chris, I'll let you jump in.
Okay, so this board recently approved spending $46,000 on the project. That's before they started to get serious and move forward. Just want to make sure we're on board. And that was their engineer's opinion of cost. Well, they went out for RFP, and J&N Construction LLC was the lowest bid of 3 bidders. And in front of you is this bid comparison form. I couldn't get it in time to get it in your packet. The agreement that's in your packet is for $72,651.35, and that's category 3 in this bid comparison. So the bid actually came in more than the engineer opinion, and if you look at it, it's pretty much the materials, the actual concrete. The new engineer at the Road Commission, who's been at his job for quite a long time, realizes that these projects don't always go as planned, and he's asking that the board consider, if you approve this, to improve like a contingency amount, similar to you did before with the opinion of cost. So that's an ask from their new engineer. So, and again, this is just to have a formal agreement similar to, I think when we did Ridgeview Court special assessment, this is exactly what was in place for that.
Yeah, and just to add to that, it's, this is still, even with this going up like it did, it's significantly lower than the first engineering estimates on putting that sidewalk in. It's considerably less. And we have the budget in our road fund, even with the Roosh Road project and other things, we have the money in our road fund to do that. So I would suggest, if we were going to approve this, to approve it with a 10% contingency, so maybe just round it up to 80,000 for a not to exceed at this point, and see where we end up.
I make a motion that we sign the agreement for share of construction costs for Frankie Road not to exceed $80,000.
Support.
Question?
Go ahead. Do discussion.
Okay, so we are looking at this as concrete,
have we looked at it as a blacktop surface, like a bike trail? Anything like that, or would we save any by going that way?
I guess I couldn't answer that.
So I know that there's a lot of concrete work that has to be done, and I guess asphalt as well. And I don't know if they chose this because of where they're putting it, if concrete is better materials versus asphalt, I don't know.
I mean, you kind of think of sidewalks as being concrete,
Right?
but we have so many other trails that are blacktop. I'm just wondering if there's a difference in cost and maintenance and all of that, so.
Yeah, I don't know why. So OHM was the engineer who designed it, and they had to actually redesign the stormwater system on Frankie Road to accommodate this. So I don't know the answer to your question. I can certainly ask and get back with you. But the project is like proceeding. They've already shut the road down and starting to do the road anyways. And originally, when I talked to them about the sidewalk, if the board chose not to do that, would that be difficult in your road construction? And they told me initially, no, because I couldn't guarantee that we would do this. And I didn't want to have them create this whole design and be like, oh, township doesn't want to do it, so now we got to go back to the drawing board. I wanted to avoid that. So I don't know what those changes would look like at this point, but I can certainly ask the road commission.
I don't want to hold things up.
Yeah.
Well, it might be
Not
if-
that much money difference, but
Molly, we could approach it like this, approve it with the concrete, ask them.
Yeah.
If they say, oh, yeah, and asphalt's no problem, it's a lot cheaper, we could make an audible and go that way, as long as it doesn't exceed the 80,000. we could
as
do
we're
that.
just going up to
Right.
80.
I think that we received a lot of good response, especially from that neighborhood. It's a residential neighborhood. There's a lot of pedestrian traffic on that road that doesn't have any place to walk during that section. So I think overall project, in my opinion, is valid, and good. So
Pretty sure South Airport to Barlow was concrete too. So our engineer might have some input as to why we chose to do that versus blacktop. So, and I do know, like on Frankie, they're going to actually do, the road will be asphalt, there's going to be concrete ramp that basically goes up to the concrete sidewalk. So I don't know if it's an integrity thing or if that's best practices, but that's kind of how they designed it, so.
Can you check that out and
Yes.
bring it back? And,
Absolutely.
I'm fine with going with the 80,000
Okay.
for now, but if there's a significant cost savings, I'd like you to bring it back. And
Okay,
and we could follow up with our engineer too to give her input
Yeah.
on what's the right material to use, so.
okay.
Okay. All right, so we do have a motion and a support. Any other discussion on that motion? Hearing none, Ann, can we have a roll call on that, please?
Muckle?
Yes.
Was that Augustinelli who seconded?
McCumber.
McCumber?
Yes.
Augustinelli?
yes,
Horn?
Yes.
Lab?
Yes.
L. McManus?
Yes.
J. McManus?
Yes, thank you. All right. Consideration of the employee handbook. So we remember, I think it was our last meeting, we had a spirited discussion around the employee handbook. But I think we all kind of overlooked at the time that one of the first entries in the employee handbook says this doesn't apply to elected officials. So all that discussion around it applying to us didn't apply to us anyway. It's already in our handbook. It exists. It's just simply, and Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, just adding Chris as a person versus me. So this really applies to staff. So if somebody calls up, says, hey, I'd like to talk to John Syke about this, John has to get either mine or Chris's approval to talk to staff. If somebody calls up Laney and wants to talk about elections, that's her business. She's an elected official. She can do that. So just to kind of clarify that, we got off in the weeds a little bit, and we should have known the answer to that and didn't. So that's kind of where we're at. So Chris, if I didn't take the wind out of your sail, go ahead and.
No, that summed it up, and, it prompted us to take a deeper dive into the first page of the agenda item. We want to edit what was approved to fit the suggestions in your packet. And then keep the information releases as it was presented during our last meeting, keep that the same, because it makes sense. So we're just asking you to approve our handbook amendments according to what's presented in the agenda item.
I make a motion that we approve the employee handbook amendments as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the amendments to the employee handbook as presented this evening. Any other conversation or discussion on that item? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, consideration of bids for the River East Recreation Area restroom facility. And I believe Jennifer is here to talk about that. We got the
Before-
parking lot, we got the parking lot done.
Before Jennifer gets started, I do have a question. What do we have budgeted for that bathroom, that we still have?
It was in my letter.
Yeah, it came in 30-some thousand.
In the CIP, we had budgeted accounting for contingency, which is just reserve, was $339. So that would have been the last sentence in the second to last paragraph.
Okay, now I see it, thank you.
Because I figured I would ask that question, so I figured one of you guys would ask that question. Now, that's taking a snapshot right now. Of course, we haven't done final quantities with AJ's, who did the site phase, and there's been some site changes, nothing that I, at the moment, see anything concerning, but there's some additional conduit added at the request of Lautner for the irrigation company. There was also some modifications to the style of fence on the backside of the pole barn to something that was readily available, which actually provided a cost savings. So I'm hoping at the end it'll all balance out, but we're just going through that, and that's part of our exercise tomorrow, too. So, but there's nothing that stands out that's concerning. So I preface with that statement,
I
because
believe we added a significant amount of conduit underneath the structure as well. Just probably more than we'll ever need, but we
If
figure
it's-
it's time
yeah.
to put it in now.
if it's not there, you don't need it. It's kind of, I mean,
So,
it was quite significant. So, and that was just working with staff to, account for any irrigation, future electrical.
All kinds of stuff.
It's a pretty cheap,
Future-proofed.
just safety precaution to have at the end of the day, I think. So I think that was a good decision to make. But yes, with that, does anybody else have any more questions before I?
Thank you.
Thank you. But, no, I am very pleased to have this in front of you guys, and so we can move on with some other things. But with that, was finally able to heard all my sub-consultants, get a plan finalized, hold a bid opening, and so basically what this represents is bids received for an on-site build bathroom. We won't go through the history again. Some of it's outlined here, very high level, but this is intended to be men's and women's bathroom, so it's not family style. And this was worked out with staff and discussed and illustrated with Township and Park and Rec Board at one point. But very similar to mimic Silver Lake. There are urinals with that. It's year-round. There's a mechanical room, multiple stalls, sinks. I'm trying to think high level. And then with the architecture itself, it's all block, heavily insulated, again, to reinforce the year-round use. Silver Lake has been kind of a hybrid, how it was built. Didn't account for year-round use, and so I think since then, staff and you guys have approved, going in and doing some spray foam and insulating, but it's kind of hard to do that after the fact to create that. So with this build, no, it's going to be a great facility. At the end of the day, if I know we were going down the route of a prefab, which would have been a lot more complimentary of our time, but if any of you take a moment, the city recently put one in right on Munson by their park, a prefabbed, and it serves its purpose, it serves a budget, but it's a box. And there's nothing fancy, no bells and whistles with it, where this is going to definitely provide you guys a very long life with the block, and we've got the steel roof, and working through the architecture and some direction that this board has approved with your landscape architect. So I'm very excited to see and have this ultimately built. So with that, talking with staff when this project was bid out, we offered 2 timelines for them to present. And one more, a little bit more accelerated of October 1st, and the other one for December 1st. And the two local bidders, unfortunately, couldn't accommodate that first bid opening, or construction, and then another company did, and they were significantly higher. So just vetting on you guys' behalf, I've worked both with RCI and Grand Traverse Construction. I'm not familiar with Graham Construction. They are based out of Saginaw, and they were the sole bidder that did put in a bid for the earlier completion date. But again, looking at the long-term objective of what you guys want, working with a local contractor, having this complete prior to the end of December, knowing this is going to be a year-round bathroom. Yes, they're going to be done on December 1st, but it provides a facility that's going to be open all winter long for all the park goers. And my goal is, depending on the direction you guys give me tonight, but my recommendation is to go with RCI. They're going to do a good job. For context, they built the pavilion out there already. That's there. When the first phase went in, they've done quite a few facilities around here. I think the most notable that I can think of, also off the top of my head, would be Blair Township. Their fire station is another building that they constructed. And some of you, I'm sure, are probably familiar with them also, but I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have for me.
Just not a question on the bid, but a question on security outside that bathroom. We're gonna have an open year-round. It's busy down in there.
Yeah.
And so do we have some kind of security outside? Not inside.
Not associated with this scope, but we have conduits that are separate and independent of electrical because they have to be shielded and they can't run in the same. So I think that is where the board is slated to go, and park staff, because I believe MMR, or not MMR, but Power Plan has grants available, and you guys have done that different places. So I know, yes, that is a line item in the CIP for that, and Chloe may be able to speak to that too, or somebody else.
I believe we have cameras at the building down there. There is,
Is there, and there could be already, but I mean, I think you're saying specifically for the bathroom?
yeah, but so we have cameras on the pole building that's there now, but we would want to put them on the building as well.
Because we did put extra conduit in specifically for that purpose, and the pavilion too, when we get more use.
Chloe?
Also at Silver Lake, we have doors that lock. Do you know if these will automatically lock at night? I know there are ways around that.
Right
but
now,
it is
no.
a way to kind of prevent people from going in at night, is that they lock at a certain time when the park's closed.
That's not factored in either, because they're not family-style bathrooms. So when you open them, there's a couple, there's stalls and then sink. So that would be something that we would want to, if that's,
Well, this is like the outdoor door locks, so you
Right.
can't get into where the stalls are.
Because our parks technically close at dusk.
Right.
So it wouldn't be inappropriate to install some locks that lock
and that's
at dusk.
something, yes, we can work through. I don't think when I met with Parks and some of the staff, we
Add
didn't
that
get into
later,
some of
but-
those refined details, but that's something definitely that can be either included through this contractor, or I can work with Derek and Sean on directly.
That's something that's needed,
Yeah.
definitely.
You can prop the doors, there's ways around it, but I
Yeah.
think it does help a little bit. And yeah, we can definitely put cameras on it.
Because I know with Silver Lake, those were added later too.
Right.
And having that same make and model,
Sure.
I'll work with them. It might be just as easy for them to do it rather than the contractor, but no, thank you, Chloe.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
when you order the doors, I don't know, Silver Lake's an add-on, but maybe we can get a door that has that in the system.
Yeah, because right now they've just got the handles.
Not an add-on, but maybe we can check with the contractor, see what they can find.
To
that's-
incorporate like a key, if you guys want a key code, or what the preference would be for
well,
consistency.
just- We don't probably need that. All we need
just
is
locks and
something that
automatically.
locks
Yes.
automatically.
Okay,
At dusk.
At-
Yeah, work with Chris on.
Certain-
yeah, I'll work with them. Yeah, though they're,
Probably do it from.
I like the
Sean's
idea
phone.
of once the park closed, the bathroom doors lock.
Right.
You can still
So
get out, though.
A lot less
so-
chance for
Your
vandalism.
lock be stuck in there.
You can still get out, but
So
you
you
can't.
can call 911. I'm stuck in the bathroom.
no, because as we get into shop drawings for stuff like this, there ends up being, decisions to make, and then that can lead to other conversations. And so, no, I appreciate you guys giving me the heads up on that in advance, because probably is
Need
going to
some
be,
kind of electrical component to it, so.
right. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Korn.
Now that we're having more 90-degree days, is there going to be air conditioning?
No,
No, okay.
no.
I'll
That
stay
means
away
that
from that
they don't
hot
stay
day.
in that long then.
Sorry. Yeah.
You should not be hanging out in the bathroom stall, Chuck. I'm going to say that. I mean, there's ventilation, but I don't know most of us that want to just hang out at.
It's a great place to meet engineers.
The good thing about a block building with that much insulation, it'll stay pretty cool. during
Yeah,
the
it's
day,
gonna stay
so,
cool. And not only that, you don't want
Yeah.
other people
Yeah.
in there just to want to stay in there.
Yeah,
We all
that's
walked
fine.
into that,
Right.
so. There's heaters though, yes, in the winter, so.
Okay.
That's where the year-round comes in, but that's, yeah. That's funny.
So,
Do we need a motion?
I
on this?
absolutely do. We would need a motion to accept we're recommending the low bidder of RCI for the $325,000.
I make a motion that we accept the low bidder of RCI at $325,336 for the River East bathrooms.
Support.
Motion made and supported to accept the bid for RCI for the bathroom at River East. Any further discussion on that motion? Yes?
Sorry, just one comment. We didn't mention this is also an ARPA project, so 250,000 of our ARPA money is gonna go towards this. It's our last of the ARPA money. Hopefully after this project is done, I never have to say ARPA again. So, but that's part of the reason why we need it done before December 31st, because that's the deadline for spending the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make that note.
Thanks, Chloe.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, Ann, can we have a roll on that, please?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Who seconded again? Augustinelli.
Yes.
Korn.
Yes.
Cumber.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
J. McManus.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I know, I don't really want to say the word bathroom for a while either, so I appreciate it, thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Consideration of the Northern
In 3 years.
Northern Michigan Mountain Bike Association agreement for the Commons Area Trail. Chris, I'll let you take a list.
Okay, talked about this in the past. The board approved that project in concept. We worked with NIMBA, their attorney, our attorney, and came up with an agreement that we as staff felt that we could live with. One thing that was very clear conveyed to NIMBA representatives is that it's Garfield Township's park. We have to look out for the best interest of everybody who uses it, not just mountain bikers, not just walkers, everybody, and that any activity that's going to be conducted is going to be approved through the township.
Good.
So that was crystal clear, and they acknowledge, even added some language to say that they're going to let their board know that they are not to cut things down, build jumps, do anything without township approval. So that's one thing that you can really take away from that agreement that needed to be in place. And so we're just looking to get the board to approve supervisor to sign it, we'll get them to sign it, and then they can proceed with their project. That's kind of where we're at.
Yes, Molly.
This agreement refers to exhibits that would be
So-
drawings of where they are.
In front of you,
Oh, you left that on the desk.
yep,
This
exhibit
one
A and B.
right here. The one that is behind.
It's two-sided.
A two-sided one.
There's
It's this one right here.
Yep, so those will be in the agreement, identifying locations, and that's just south of
Other side, Molly.
the North Long Lake Road trailhead, and doesn't conflict with the,
I'm sorry,
the
you're right.
new trail up on Red Drive.
And just kind of as a reminder, this is an approved trail that the Bike Association's paying for. We spent a lot of time with our attorney in honing the language. When they first came to the table, they wanted full control over everything, and we just had to keep reminding them it's our park, and we're gonna keep the hold of the reins. And we came to finally a nice mutual agreement that gives them the flexibility they want. They're paying for it. They want to pick a contractor that's quality and going to do a good job in the trail. So I think we've come to a good compromise with the agreement. Yeah.
On this picture, just want to make sure that they know that this yellow box is not all Garfield Township property. there's private land there,
Right.
and
That was
they
the
should
planning
not be
department
going
report.
there.
Yeah, but the trail is within the
trail
township.
is within
Yeah,
the township.
yeah.
Right.
It's just a box they put in there, but the trail itself is all on township property.
Another thing on that, Joe, they've been coming and quite involved in the Parks and Rec Commission meetings, and I think it was made clear myself that, everything had to go through the township. Because I know at one point in time, someone was going out there and starting to cut trees, and that didn't work.
For years.
Yeah.
Not for
Yeah.
a long time.
So they were totally understanding of that, so.
And I think we delivered that message repeatedly in our meetings.
Right.
I mean, I can go back to, 25 years ago, they were jumps off the hills and it was a mess up there, but,
Killed up there.
what's that?
Somebody got killed up
Some-
there.
Yeah, one individual actually died up there.
And we talked about that.
Well, I make a motion that we have the supervisor sign the agreement with the NIMBA for the Commons Area Trail.
Support.
Motion made and supported, authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement with the Northern Michigan Bike Association. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right, I'm gonna find out what I did with my agenda all of a sudden.
You don't mind?
It's buried into my pile over here. Okay, moving on. Next item is consideration of the township manager's performance evaluation process. Procedure.
The board asked me to look into this company to create a program for the manager position, and in front of you is their proposal. That was the same cost as creating one for our staff. And so it looks like about 25 hours to create it over a 2 to 3 week time period. And there was a question that Trustee Lapp had asked about, like, I guess the legacy costs, like, if you're gonna have them involved in the process annually, what does that look like? Because this creates the process and probably covers the first year of carrying it out, but what does year 2 and so on look like? So I'd reached out to them, and I'm waiting to hear back on that. Like they did with some policy development out of prior agreements, they'll just charge you an hourly rate. So I'm going to expect, they say, you can do it yourself. After the first go-around, you'll understand what we do, and you can carry it out yourself. Or, maybe the board would choose to engage them every year. I don't know. We'll figure out what that is and bring that back to you. But at this point, we'd like to have you consider approving this to get that process going.
I make a motion that we get the process going on the township manager's performance evaluation procedure with, is it Cooper? Cooper.
Cooper people.
Cooper people.
Say that 5 times
For
fast.
$5,000. Did you say Cooper people?
Cooper People Group.
I don't want you to say that
Gee.
5 times
I know.
fast. No, maybe not. Was there any support for that motion?
I didn't hear any.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and supported to enter into agreement with Cooper People Group to develop the 360 feedback performance for the township manager for a cost of $5,000. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none. And go have a roll on that, just to be safe, please.
Certainly. Schmuckel.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
Gustinelli.
Yes.
And J. McManus.
Yes, thank you. All right, moving on. Next item on our agenda is public comment. So at this point, we'll open up public comment. Anybody has anything to say, come up. And we have a 3-minute timeline on our public comment. Please state your name and your residency, not your physical address, but your municipality, please.
My name is Becky Geyer, and I'm in East Bay Township. And we were here for the planning meeting last week, my daughter and I, and a lot of other people, as you know. And I assume that your notes say that you're recommending the approval of the moratorium for the data center. And I just wanted to applaud you for going through with that and putting a moratorium on any data center that would come into the area, because as we know, it affects not just their area, but their surrounding areas as well, for all kinds of reasons that I know you probably know very much. So I'm not going to bore you with that again, but Obviously, you're planning to do that in August and hear from the public again, probably on that topic, and I think you'll have a sold-out room. And so we just wanted to thank you for your efforts in maintaining that this community stays pristine as it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer Graham, Gordy Frazier. Wanted to give you guys two quick updates. One, as of right now, because you might notice some congestion at Cass and South Airport. I don't know.
Really?
I didn't know what it was going on. I thought, no, they were down there, and I was asking, oh, we should have an ice cream truck down there. That would be great for the guys, but I don't know how they'd get there.
Yeah, it's getting there.
But it sounds, fingers crossed, it sounds like they were successful and able to finally overcome the hole caving in and get down to the break, which happened to be right near the manhole, and sleeve it, put a whole bunch of concrete around it, and encapsulate it for to address the leak. And the hope is shortly they'll have it back online and transferred so that we can do backfill, pave over it tomorrow, and have our temporary fix in place so that we can plan for our permanent fix, which, if that all pans out, our permanent fix is intended to be trenchless, which would be pipe bursting. Mr. Corns probably vaguely remember we did that one time on Dual Road, when at that time it was newer technology in Garfield Township about 18 years ago, and so it's continuing to be a great technology. So you just go through and from manhole to manhole, and it just goes right through. We needed a hole to run the ream head through and pull a new pipe, like threading a needle. So, and then the rest of the vitrified clay we will slip line, or we may even entertain pipe bursting depending on the price. But fingers crossed, I'm happy to report it sounds like that's been successful after doing it all day in the heat.
So Jennifer, what you're talking about is going to happen in the future.
Yes, that's a permanent fix, but the temporary fix is patching the sewer.
No. What I'm asking is, the next phase, is that road need to be closed?
After Labor Day.
No, that's our
Okay,
hope. If
that's
this
the
temporary works.
The goal is, but hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow, the right-hand turn lane and all the lanes on Cass will be open back up. That intersection will be able to function as normal, we hope. If the temporary fix holds, then we'll come in after Labor Day and do the pipe bursting, and it'll be hopefully a permanent fix to that reoccurring problem.
And no.
Road Commission is redoing all of the.
They're not
traffic
going
lights
into
there.
the intersection, we were told.
So they're hoping to do it at the same time, which will,
Right, well, that's,
one less shutdown. and-
yeah, well, if we were gonna do the big repair, that would have been the case, but we're not doing the big out in the middle of the intersection repair now. We're just gonna try to pipe burst where it's at and then slip line the other section of clay and be done, so, we hope. But that won't, the road commission won't be doing anything there for a year, because their project got delayed because of Beitner, so that whole
Yeah.
Cass Road project got delayed. It'll be a year before they come in there and do that.
I didn't mean to confuse. I've been living this for so long.
I got some different information, but.
But basically, we were under duress because as of last week with all the storm, we needed to do something now. We couldn't keep
It
that
was
hole
actually
open.
eroding underneath, almost under the travel.
So we had two temporary solutions. The preferred temporary solution, knock on wood, sounds like it is working out, which will then allow us to implement a permanent solution that's trenchless, that will not require disruption of traffic flow and opening up the intersection in the future. That permanent solution, regardless, has to go through some design and Eagle permitting, but it's all good news right now, and I don't want to jinx it. The other thing,
You exceeded your 3 minutes.
You did, and we are communicating with her.
And you didn't say
Well,
your
thanks for the
business
update
value.
anyway. We hope I gave her a little leeway.
What's the second thing? Didn't she tell us the second thing?
Well, yeah. Any other, I see the rest of our public is running for the door, so I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. If our public had been here that did make comment, I would have corrected them, and I will for the record. What we're approving, what we've recommended, all we did tonight was recommend setting the public hearing on August 11th for the zoning ordinance amendment, which allows us to enact moratoriums on any controversial development, giving us time to adjust our ordinance to deal with it. Nowhere in any of the verbiage or anywhere is a data center mentioned. This really doesn't have anything to do with data centers, period. It probably will in the future. We will probably enact a moratorium on data centers in the future, but that's not what this is about. It's simply an amendment to the zoning ordinance permitting us to put on moratoriums. Many municipalities are at the township board level passing what's the word I'm looking for, resolutions to put a moratorium on. Our attorney is recommending we change our zoning ordinance to permit those moratoriums. They're going to be more defensible in court if it's part of your zoning ordinance than just at the town board level. So we feel it's a stronger position for us to deal with moratoriums in the future. There's a lot of misconception, a lot of confusion on that. Obviously, there was last week, but data centers are not even any part of the verbiage in any of the things we're talking about. It's a real issue, we know that, and that's what we're getting to, but that's not where we're at right now. So, just for the record, on the record, wanted to state that.
It's a process.
Yes. That's all I had. If there's no other business from anybody, we will adjourn.
Hey, Jennifer.